Welcome to Girl, I Got Questions TV,
the YouTube talk show for the woman who is just trying to pull it together and figure it out. And we're figuring it out right along with you. My name is Shana Berkeley. I am a personal stylist, your neighborhood stylist, your stylist next door, here to teach you how to rock the trends in your real world.
Yes, and I am Yasmine Williams-Woods, a speaker, writer, and conqueror. I help women conquer life and everything it throws at them by leveraging the courageous love of Jesus.
Yes, let's get started. Well, before we do that, we're just going to take a woosah. We want to update you guys on what's going on. So if you don't know, we record here in Nashville, Tennessee, and last week we were hit by a tornado. And the place that we actually normally record these videos had a lot of damage, and so we're praying for them. It's just a lot going on.
It is truly a lot going on. I mean, that broke my heart again, that, you know, the church where we film or record is, I mean, y'all, it is devastated. Not only is that church, but the houses around it. So many of our friends were impacted and traumatized, and then to be unaffected, honestly, or not, you know, directly unaffected. That just comes with heaviness in and of itself, and like a guilt and a shame and a almost like, why me and why not me and all these things. I just have so much hurt and heaviness as I think about all our friends, all our people, our city.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thankful, right, that it wasn't me, but you also just want to make sure you're doing enough to show the people that you love that in the hard times that you're really there for them. So all those things, I mean, coronavirus is trying to wreak havoc on our jobs as we do nonprofit work. My mom is sick, so y'all pray for my mama. Mama, if you watching this, girl, we're praying for you, girl.
Yeah.
You're praying for your stepdad. It's just a lot going on. So as we push forward in this, and it may be a lot going on in your life, so know that we are here with you. We're asking and answering the hard questions every day and making tough decisions about, you know, what's to do day to day. We're right here with you.
We are. With that being said, we're going to actually move right into our first segment, which is Mama Ain't Raised No Fool. Mm-hmm. This is typically the segment where we ask a hard question, because we feel like the woman who asks a question remains a fool for 5 minutes, and the person who does not ask a question remains a fool forever. And again, Mama ain't raised no fool.
Not today.
But today, just continuing the fact that there's so much hard stuff happening in life, we don't really have a particular question. Rather, we're going to discuss an interview that Snoop Dogg did on Red Table Talk. Yeah. You want to update the people on what he was responding to, what all went down?
Yeah, so, I mean, and it may feel like old news, but I think the things to glean from it are evergreen, and they are something that hasn't been talked about enough. I think he made so many points that we won't be able to talk about them all today. But we encourage you, and we'll link it below, the Red Table Talk with Jada and Snoop Dogg. He was responding to, obviously, what he said to Gayle King after she did the interview with Lisa Leslie about Kobe Bryant, and how he felt like, and I think a lot of us felt like the question about the sexual allegation was unnecessary, it was distasteful and untimely, and asked and answered, right? When he was alive, when that was going on, that was a conversation that was had, that was rehabbed, that was asked and answered. And so he obviously shared the sentiment that it was just in poor taste, and we understand that she was a journalist and felt like she was doing her job, but also as the audience and as the people in the community, we have an obligation to speak up when we felt like there was a wrong. However, there's a way to say all things. Yes. And so he got a lot of backlash, or backlash may be a strong word, but conversation about what he said, and people agreed and disagreed, and people was threatening her life and gonna kill her, and he was gonna get the goons on her, and he's a gangbanger, and it was a lot going on, and so he went on Red Table Talk to discuss that. And so we just wanted to talk about that because we felt like there was a lot to grow from that. So you want to start with your thoughts?
I will. Thanks for the update. And for those of you who haven't watched, I hope you do, but one of the things that people had an issue with was that he called her out of her name. Now, they had an issue with the questions she posed, clearly, but then had an issue with him calling her out of name amongst all the threats, etc., that were really an outside thing.
Yeah, he called her the B word. He said something, she had like a dog face or something like that. I mean, it got real gutter real quick.
Real quick. And so what I like that he said is that, you know, when there is a superhero, a public figure, specifically in the Black community, someone who's as prominent and powerful as Kobe Bryant was, we have to protect those superheroes, especially given our race, our ethnicity, our history, because that's not the legacy that Kobe Bryant left. Isn't the thread, isn't the conversation, isn't the narrative around Black men. So I do see the need to protect our Black men, our Black superheroes, whether they're men or women, just our Black superheroes. With that, though, I like, it's like, yes, let's protect our Black superheroes, specifically men in this situation, but not at the expense of ruining our Black women.
Right.
And it just made me think, like, how much does that play out in our day-to-day relationships, whether we're on a celebrity status or just normal people. We do that in our society, or Black women feel the responsibility to, like, oh, I gotta protect him. I can't let society know that he did that, or he does this, or he said that, because as a Black woman, I have to protect and I have to take care of. But again, we can't do that at the risk of being ruined ourselves and at the risk of being disrespected. But again, I have so much to say about the interview, but
yeah,
I think
that was a good one as well. Because, I mean, the action that you said, I always wanted to say. Like, we protect people, but protection is also criticism. You protect your children and you tell them when they're wrong. You tell them when they could have handled situations better. You tell them when they're making decisions that are going to affect them negatively in the long run, right? So it's not about what she said, because I thought that was a true and honest question, right? But on the same flip side, rather, is that question was already asked and answered. That happened so long ago.
Yeah.
That you are more than your mistake, and I think that's important for us to remember. Because when you die, you don't want people at your funeral being like, "You remember that time she wrecked her mama's car because she was running from the police?" Like, no, you wouldn't say that about somebody's life, because they're not the sum total of that experience. And that experience didn't happen yesterday. It happened years ago.
Yeah.
Like 2-3 kids ago. So that's why I think it was important taste. Not because she asked, because it's a part of the conversation, but it just wasn't timely there. Another thing I think that was so interesting, he was talking about being able to be checked, and like being a real man is somebody being able to call you and be like, "I hear what you're saying, but this is not right, that's not right, it could have been said differently, you're missing this point," right? Being able to have trusted advisors to speak up and say that. And he has the luxury as a man, right? Because even though he's Black, he's still a man. And there is a level of privilege to malehood and manhood. But he got the luxury of his friends and people that he cared about calling him and being able to say something to him in private. He didn't give Gail that same luxury. Because if he wouldn't have went off on her from the beginning, he doesn't know if her friends, if Oprah, if her mom, if her kids would have had the luxury to call her and say, "Ma, I think that was in poor taste."
Yeah.
And then she could call and apologize to Lisa Leslie. She could do another story. He could have, I mean, he's a celebrity. He may not know her, but 2 or 3 degrees of separation, he could have got to her.
Yeah.
And they could have had that conversation, right? So he had the benefit of being able to be checked in private. But he had to check her, call her out her name, take her back to slavery, and basically want to be her master in public. And so I think that he has a real regret for that. I think it was a genuine interview.
I do too.
And I appreciate that. So if you as someone you don't know Snoop, like, yes, Snoop. And if he wouldn't have done that, he would have been tarnished in my mind for a very long time. Because I'm like, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, and it's hypocritical, right? Going back to like, how dare you talk about or bring this up about this man, this legend.
Right.
But then you're speaking down to another powerful figure in our community, right? Like,
because she's a superhero too.
Right,
So we're protecting superheroes. Why does she get to be left out of that conversation?
Yeah. Okay.
They also talked about, this is one thing I thought was interesting. Snoop made a gospel album a couple years ago, and he said that nobody talked about it. And then 2 years ago, he went back and made like I don't think it was a hardcore gangster rap type thing, but it was definitely like back to your normal like derogatory of women, celebrating money and fame, that type of vibe to his album after the gospel album. And so they were talking about that, and he said that when you do right, you never get praised. He said, I made a whole gospel album. I had gospel greats on this album, which he did. That gospel album was kind of hit, and I was surprised. I was like, Snoop got this? Okay. But then people was talking about the album after that, and he was like, when you do right, people don't want to celebrate you. But when you know what I'm saying, doing your old thing, people are, oh yeah, y'all heard that new Snoop, you making money, people booking you. And I think that's an interesting thing as well, because we have to teach our kids, teach ourselves, that integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's watching.
Right.
Integrity, and as Christians, right, because the theme of the show, why we created this show, was because our favorite talk shows was missing that faith-based, Christians particularly based thread. And as Christians, that's our life. That's what we sign up for, is to do the right thing, turn the other cheek, forgive, praise God, tithe, do all the things that nobody's celebrating you for, because we live in a world where that's not what is celebrated. This is not the world of heaven, where it's like, heaven is rejoicing, right? When he made that album, I'm sure the angels in there crip walking like, yes, Snoop. But you're not going to get that, and we have to be okay with that, because if we continue to seek validation outside of Christ and outside of the Holy Spirit, outside of the people who love us, you're constantly going to backslide. Right. Because the things that get celebration are backsliding. Right. Pop it on the real nigga. I'm sorry, you know, that's gonna get Meg Thee Stallion gonna get it all day. Yeah. Let her go gospel. Let her say, you know what, I'm turning away from this. Salt and Pepper. They was huge. I don't know which one was Salt, which one was Pepper, but one of them who did the gospel rap thing with Kurt Franklin and stuff. Yeah. She was Christian. Salt. Yeah. And now she's like, I don't sing about that anymore. That's not who I am. That's not what I want my kids to know. I ain't never seen nobody knocking down Salt door to do no, gospel, right? It's part of it. Yeah. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. And then that convicted me too. Just, I agree with everything you say, and how we can't, as Christians, we gotta stay anchored in who God calls us to be, and glorifying Him. Right. Because to your point, we're not going to get the celebratory praises, the acknowledgement, etc. here on earth. So we can't base it in that, because to Snoop's point, if you're doing right, that's not what's going to be praised. And so as a parent, I was convicted, because I want to ensure that I am, I get so busy in life, and it's like I'm going through, everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, handling business, doing chores, whatever, and I just don't say anything because I'm busy. But the moment somebody does something wrong or forgets to do something, or even with my husband, right? It's like, oh, well, let me point this out. Let me stop what I'm doing. Make time to let you know that you did something wrong. Right. But am I also stopping to make that time to tell them when they are doing right, and to praise them and celebrate them? Yes. Yes. Now, I knew this discussion was going to take a lot of time, but I apologize for this, but I do want to bring up what they said about, as Black people, we've been programmed to disrespect. What were your thoughts on that?
I think yes and no. Okay. And I'll say that for this way, because he talked about the good and the bad things, but particularly we've been programmed to disrespect. Yes, right? We have been programmed. And I believe in PTSD. I believe that PTSD can be passed down through DNA. Science shows that through the kids of soldiers, as well as Black folks. We was enslaved for 200 years. Right. And then post-slavery is really slavery, right? And then you have the priesthood of prison pipeline, which is really another way of oppression and slavery. Yeah. So we're dealing with a lot, and we're a resilient community, but that has no place if you don't deal with it. It will seep into your DNA. And so I agree with that. However, we have to choose to do better for ourselves. Amen. So we now have the knowledge, some of us, right? There are still people who are in the fringe and in certain communities that are not vulnerable, right? And we have to do a better job. But especially like Snoop Dogg, right? Sir, you were programmed, but you old. Like you once was young and now you old, right? You're not a kid. You're not a teenager. You have grown kids.
Yeah, and your circumstance is so drastically different.
So it's not necessarily about money, right? But it's about the mental opportunity to change your mind. And yes, we all backslide. But I think that we also choose to play into programming. Amen. So absolutely, do I think we've been programmed to do that? Yes. Absolutely, do I think that the world will tell you, if nobody corrects it, that Black people don't matter, that Black people just ghetto, that Black people can't do nothing right. 100%. But once you know better and you don't do better, then that's not a choice. Yeah. It's a choice. And we just have to be like, I chose, it's the thing about therapy. When you go there, they be like, no, ma'am, you knew at some point you saw him for who he really was, and you saw the situation for what it really was, and you know who your mama exactly is. You now have awareness, and if you choose to stay in that, it no longer becomes you being a victim, but it becomes you being a participant.
Yep.
What do you think?
Facts. I agree. I feel like we've been programmed. It stood out to me because Shana and I were recently talking about TD Jake's point that he made about whipping our children in a black community, and so. That form of discipline goes all the way back to slavery. So there are things that we've just been programmed to do. Like, do you know why you whoop your children? Do you know why your parents whooped you? Do you know why their parents whooped you?
Because you bad.
Right.
That's why I got with this. Because I talked back and I was bad. Mind your business, TD Jake. No, I'm kidding, TD. Hello.
But yeah, that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is some validity to that. Sorry, help me out.
Yeah, look, come on, friends. There we go.
And I got this clip from Fashion Chase. I'll tell you about that later. But also, my mentor even always talks about how our food is the same way too. Mm-hmm. Like, we had to eat what was left of the pig, or whatever, all these things. So we still, as a culture eat unhealthy. So it made me, hearing them talk about that, just made me think about all the things that we have been programmed to do. And I just want to make sure that I'm being cognizant as I navigate life and raise children and just try to be transformed.
I think, obviously we can talk about this more, and we'll talk about it more on Instagram as well. But it's super interesting because he talked about that we are doing things well. And if we as a culture always talk about what we do bad, we want to see the beauty and we want to see the reason for fighting for change. So yes, that shows though that we have such a connection to the ancestral plane, as they would say in Wakanda Forever, Black Panther, right? That we even eat, they in heaven. Our ancestors in heaven, they still eat the same way, right? And there's something about a kindred spirit of saying that this is something that's been passed down. Now, obviously, if it's unhealthy for us, or obviously if it's something that is traumatic for us, then it's something we need to break. But there are things like family, like dancing, like community, like sharing
art,
secrets,
creativity,
right? Like when you're in public, you stick up for what was said. That's somebody else's kid, right? Black people take care of other people's kids for the most part. And it'd be like, whoa, I don't know who your mama is, but come on out the street. Right. I remember I saw this baby running, I grabbed the baby. I don't know where the mama was. And when the mama came out, I apologized. I'm sorry, man. He was in the street. I saw a car backing up, and then she came out, got the baby, the car was still backing up, and she wasn't paying no mind. So that's a different story. Right? But I protected somebody else's kid.
Right.
It's natural, it's ancestral for us as a kindred spirit, and that's great. Also, he was talking about how the Bloods and the Crips are now they can be friends. Mm-hmm. And I didn't grow up in that kind of environment to really understand the depths and the breadth of gang culture. Mm-hmm. But he explained it in a way to show we are now moving past things that used to divide us as a kindred, gangs are some things about community and family, right? But also, how can you bridge the gap? And so I think we're doing a lot well, and we have to have the courage to speak out about the things that we're not doing well without fear of the man persecuting us or not sticking up for our superheroes. Mm-hmm. It's a give and a take. It's a tension that we constantly have to live in order for us to grow as a community. Otherwise, you're going to have your Kobe's and your Snoops, but then the rest of us are going to be down here like crabs in a barrel. Yeah. And the better question is, why are crabs in a barrel, right? Not why they bring each other down. So,
there you go. Hey, you better give us a word.
Honey, I'm preaching today. You better catch this thing up here. So I love that. I encourage you guys to watch it. Any other thoughts on that?
No, there's so many more thoughts. So how about this? Y'all hop in the comments. Watch the other interview. Hop in the comments. Let's have a dialogue about it. And if you got more questions from this that you want to hear us discuss, send us those, because I enjoyed this conversation. Do you remember when we talked about this show? We said, we are not doing race. This show will not be about race. But so many of our conversations, inevitably,
you can't help it.
Right, yeah.
So now we're doing race. You're welcome.
It is time to talk about the woman we are honoring this week for our I Rise segment. This is where we discuss or acknowledge a woman who has asked and answered the hard questions in life so that we wouldn't have to. Who are we honoring this week?
Yes, so I'm excited to honor Emily Jasmine Perez. Emily was born in February of 1983. So she's our peer. Yeah. She was the first female minority cadet command sergeant major in the history of the United States Military Academy at West Point.
Wow.
She unfortunately died in deployment in Iraq in 2006 as a medical service corps officer at the age of 23. So I chose Miss Perez because I thought it was so important for us to know that we can still make history. There are still things and places that we have not uncovered about how we can change the world as women, as African American women, as minority women, and particularly in the armed forces. So I wanted to just congratulate Emily Perez, and if we could give Miss Perez 2 snaps and a slay. What you think, girl?
Can we give her 2 snaps, a slay, and a salute?
Okay, get fancy on us.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, 2 snaps, a slay, and a salute. Y'all better be doing this with us at home. Ready?
Yes.
Here we go. 2 snaps, a slay, and a salute to Miss Emily Perez. Thank you for all you have done for us and asking and answering the hard questions so we wouldn't have to.
Yes, thank you.
This is Usher's Let It Burn or Confessions, where we talk about things we just need to get off our chest, honey. We got to tell y'all about it. And so I'm going to start.
Okay.
And my confession this week is God really showed me, like, I ain't on my prayer grind like I'm supposed to be. Like, I was listening to, I found this random sermon about, like, dating and marriage. So I listened to it, and he was basically like, when you're single, you should not be distracted about the things of the world. Meanwhile, I watch like 6 hours of TV. I'm like, girl, get your life together. So I am going to try, and y'all try this with me, to tithe my time. So what that means is, like, each day, 2.5 hours would be dedicated to Christ. It does not mean that you have to read your Bible and pray for 2.5 hours, because I ain't gonna lie, I'd be asleep. But, you know, it could be prayer, it could be reading your Bible, it could be listening to a sermon, it could be talking to a friend, it could be, you know, whatever. Like, God will give you the things to fill up your time for 2.5 hours. So I have been failing in that, but I have been striving. And that's kind of what I want to be. So my confession is, I love the Lord, He heard my cry, but I really have been neglecting my dog.
Yeah.
I got to get back to him. I'm sorry, Jesus.
Yeah. Thank you for that honesty.
Yeah.
This week, I got something that I seriously need to let burn, y'all. I gotta get it off my chest. So, I applied to speak at this really big conference, and they asked for your one-pager, your website, all these things. And then there was a church that has asked me to do a women's retreat. They wanted the one-pager. I send them the same one-pager. And something just told me, the spirit, if you will, told me to, like, reread the email from the church, because they've been emailing, like, consistently back to back to back. And I'm like, hold on, I haven't heard from them in a few days. Did they go with somebody else? So I was like, let me just reread the email. I opened the one-pager.
It had somebody.
Y'all, it is the wrong one-pager. It is from a long time ago when we were just going back and forth about drafts. Y'all, conqueror is spelled wrong at the top. The same paragraph is repeated twice because, again, it was just about format and colors. And y'all, I sent this out. I feel so embarrassed and awful about the it like, I hear God. It is what it is. If, you know, what's meant to be will be. I'm not tripping about the opportunity, but it's like, it's embarrassing. And I'm cool, but when I think about it, I'm like, oh yeah. Like,
I just did this in the right one?
I sent it to the church, but the deadline was gone for the conference.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, and they announced speakers today. So, I probably won't be getting that email, but it's all right.
Yeah, we learn. We live and we learn.
Yes. So, I don't proofread. Yeah. But starting after last night, your girl will be proofreading.
Let me tell you what I started doing, because I'm real tragic. Like, I'm trifling when it comes to that. I started putting, like, final or, like, really big bold words so I know it's the right one, or deleting the last one. So you gotta make a way to be like, title it like, do not send this.
I thought I deleted it, but it turns out I went back through my downloads. I deleted the correct one. But you know, it's all right.
Well, y'all sit up and pray for my girl, because that's hard. But you know what? God is still in the blessed business.
Yes, He is sovereign.
At least you went back and looked at it, so you won't be like, what happened?
Right, and then I just keep sending it. Yeah. Right, because your girl is on her grind. Like, all right, you need a speaker. Where you at? What you got?
Out. Okay, well, we hope y'all enjoy our confessions. If y'all want to share and have a community conversation, y'all drop y'all confessions below. And be sure you're subscribed to our page. Follow us on Instagram at Girl I Got Questions TV. And yeah, engage with us. We love it. We're so much fun, we promise.
Y'all, this is Shana's signature segment, and it is called Fashion Foreteller because for real, you know the trends before they are a trend.
You know, I do what I can. First of all, let's acknowledge the black and white over here. You keep the people going, honey.
Yes, so this was inspired by last week's episode 6. Make sure you go watch it so you can, get together. All of this, actually, you remember these boots? All this was you.
This is all
She
good.
gets me together.
She looks great. Now, next week, I'm going to challenge you. I don't know if you can do it next week, but if you can't, it's okay.
I'll try.
Because today we are talking about army green. I love camo. I love army green. I have like 10, I'm not going to front, 10 army green jackets. And I wanted to talk to you guys about why camo and army green are such big trends. So, army green and camo are going to be neutral. So, they're going to be similar to your blacks, your browns, your animal prints. I consider animal print a neutral. And camo. So, you can wear them, if y'all saw what I had on earlier, and I'll show you. I have on camo pants within a black and white shirt and yellow boots, right? It's all kind of goes together. It's a little bit pushing the boundaries. And so, things like this hat, bucket hat, fisherman hats, these are all really going to be big for spring, really trendy and easy to wear. So if you're like, I like the camo trend, I'm a hat girl, I don't want to do too much, this is really an easy trend to add onto your wardrobe. The next thing is grandpa sweaters. So I know it's getting warmer, but it's still kind of chilly in most places. And so this sweater is from City Trends, actually. It's warm and fuzzy on the inside, and it has these orange, it has the orange accents. So I've worn this jacket, and I literally had on all black, like black sweatpants and a black t-shirt. And this just adds a little bit of
and it's thick too, y'all. Come through City Trends.
Yeah, and here's the trick. This is actually from the men's section. So the grandpa trend for women, if you go in the women's section, but it's always nice just to head up to the men's section and do what you gotta do. The next two, if you'll hold this one for me, I'll show you. So these both are thrifted, but they have some things you can look for. Obviously, this is a army jacket or military jacket. May not be the army child, I don't know. A military jacket. And I added these little pins. Like this is Bessie Coleman, a Black History pin, and all these patches and stuff. So you can really DIY a jacket to be just as unique as you are. But the color itself, again, over jeans and a t-shirt, over a dress, over a crop top, it really is so versatile that this jacket can transition you. And then you also have a lot of space to kind of do what you want to do. If you wanted to get your initials on the back, if you wanted to get your name on the front, it really is a fun way to add any interest to a jacket. And then with this one, it's the same thing. So this is more of a blazer style. Y'all know I'm the blazer queen. But with this one, I added this little brooch. And it kind of gave the military vibes to a jacket that was already army green. It has you remember we talked about the bombers? It has the bomber sleeves. So most blazers have like the cuff sleeves or button sleeves, but these have the elastic sleeves similar to a more casual jacket. So you really like this jacket. It's really cute. And I have not worn it yet because I'm probably going to wear it with this dress. So this dress is a knit dress. And again, it has the army green at the top, but then it has the tan at the bottom. So you're color blocking in one piece that's pre-made, and it's even longer in the back and shorter in the front. So this dress is really cute. I got this from Ross. And can you imagine just like this dress?
Yeah, that's cute. You gotta show us pictures when you do it.
Yeah, it's so weird. I may even like do a pop of color shoe or army green shoe. I haven't decided yet, but I thought this would be really cute. And again, playing off that green color. So green can go with tan. It can go with blush. It can go with like a blood orange or a wine color. It can go with yellow. It's really an easy transitional piece, and it really works great in the fall and the spring times where you're constantly transitioning from warmer to hotter or hotter to warmer. So you guys try, tag me in your pictures in the color army green. And if you see something you like, don't be afraid to try it out.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
This segment, Gas Me Up, is for the girls who are screaming, "Ay, ay, ay," in their Instagram stories and their Snapchats. So we each pick a song that embodies how we're feeling in the week. It makes us feel strong, powerful, and just having a good time. So, yeah, you want to go first?
I'll go first. My Gas Me Up song, it's my Ratchet Week.
Ratchet
but
Week.
I'm keeping it righteous.
We love you, Ratchet Week.
Yes.
You going to give us a righteous song on your Ratchet Week?
Yeah, I'm going to give you, because it's so much going on, I can't deal.
You might be right. We might
Jesus, where you at? And then we talked about all the stuff from the Snoop Dogg video. I felt convicted. Like, gosh, the song I wanted to go with had a whole bunch of B's and nuns. Like, I can't do it this week.
Not this week, Jesus.
Right.
But next week we back on our...
Next week we back. So my song is by Marvin Sapp, I Believe. I also had to throw it in there because we talked about how my righteous songs have all been by white artists. So I gave you some Marvin Sapp this week.
Marvin?
I believe he has a part in there where he like starts ministering. Takes me out every time.
I gotta listen to that song. I believe.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I was torn this week by my song because I just want y'all to know all my favorite songs. But I'm gonna do something a little unconventional too. Okay. So I love country music.
Okay.
Yeah, if people are like, really? I'm like, yes.
I support it.
I'm a huge country music fan. And so I decided I heard it on the radio and I was like so excited. So I was like, I'm gonna share this. My first country music introduction was You're Gonna Miss This by Trace Atkins. It's slow and it's basically talking about how life moves fast and the parts of your life now that you either don't like or that you're looking forward to, when it's gone, you're gonna miss it. It's a really good song. I mean, I have to tell you another day the story of how I got into country music.
Is it right? Because I got a little country music story too. My Lady Annabelle days.
Yeah. So it's.
I support it. I don't know that artist, so I'll listen. Check it out.
I listen to all his stuff. He's definitely like the honky tonk, badonkadonk type of like country too. So he got a little bit of that. We like, oh no. But he also has some bops, and I'm like, yes, God. Okay. So I mean, country music ain't nothing but
R&B with a
blues, basically. So don't be like that. Don't give me that. Don't. I see the look y'all giving us. Don't do it.
Yeah, go listen. It's like good songs out there.
Yeah, he's gonna like it. So that was our gas meal for the week, honey. We gassed. We ready to take on the week. Let's do it. All right, this is Faith Filled and Fabulous.
Yes, boo, because you got to be filled with faith if you're trying to be fabulous. And if you fabulous, boo, you're already filled with faith.
Yes, ma'am.
This week, I'm keeping it simple. I told y'all your girl is having a hard time. So I'm just going to, I've been trying to do what the word says in Philippians 4 and 8, where it says, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about those things. Okay. So that's what I've been trying to do, just remembering who God is, because life is a hot mess right now. So I'm going to give y'all actually the free downloadable from my website, YasmineWilliams.com. Go visit and you can get these for yourself. I'm also going to, we'll put them in the description box. But these are some of my favorites. 5 scriptures to help you conquer life with courageous love, especially all this crazy life that's happening. Real quick, the first one is for defeat. When you're feeling defeated, it's in John 16 and 33. I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. If you're feeling like you got a demanding schedule, this one's from Isaiah 40 and 31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. If you're feeling distressed, head on over to Psalm 55 and 22. Cast your cares on the Lord and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. Psalm 34 and 17 is good if you're feeling discouraged. And it's the righteous cry out and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. And the last one is if you're feeling any doubt. It is from Numbers 23 and 19. It's one of our favorites. I saw you post it recently. It is, God is not a man that he should lie, nor a son of man that he should repent. Has he said, and will he not do? Or has he spoken, and will he not make it good? Y'all, go download that. But most importantly, remember who God is. I know life looks crazy. It's heartbreaking. It's devastating. But God is still God. God is sitting on the throne. God has a plan. He knew the end before the beginning. It's all working for the good of those who love him and who are called according to his purposes. So just trust him. And as we talked about a few weeks ago, when you trust, like fully, give it over to him, then that's where your peace that transcends understanding comes from. I hope that y'all are encouraged because it's hard. Let's share some love. Let's encourage one another. Leave some positive thoughts in the comments. We just trying to pull through because, girl, we all got some questions about what's going on around here.
Listen, but I already know that the Lord ain't gonna take me out by Corona because I got promises that he ain't come through yet on. And Jesus, you said I was gonna have a husband, so Corona gonna somewhere. Yasmine need to be at my wedding. She's supposed to be officiating.
I know.
So she'll be fine.
Period.
We good. Period. Hedge protection over here. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Girl, I Got Questions TV.
Yes, and we want you to keep on asking the questions, because on the other side of the question is a woman who is elite, who is stellar, who is over the top, who is amazing. And we want you to be that woman.